Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian, I'm Ian the Reader, and today I am back with another episode of What's Up Wednesdays, in which I just update you on what's up with me as far as my reading goes. So, I had plans for last week. I was going to record 2 videos. I was planning on posting one on Friday and Monday. I'm hoping to kind of, maybe possibly, if I have time for it, I'm going to try it out at least, have a new schedule as far as videos go. I'm going to do Mondays, I will do book reviews. Wednesdays I will do my weekly updates, and Fridays I will do some other video like a book tag or a wrap up or something like that, or I don't know, some other kind of video, but reviews on Mondays because I want to start doing more video reviews. Wednesdays the updates, and Friday whatever the heck else. So that was the plan, but I actually got COVID last week. And so I have been just trying to get better. Didn't really have a lot of a voice and was really congested and all that jazz. But I'm starting to feel mostly better. I say I'm probably 65, 70% at this point, but still definitely not having a lot of time because my family is sick as well. So I'm probably not gonna have a video for Friday, but next week, the plan is to go ahead and start off with that Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Thank you so much for your patience until that point though. That being said, I'm ready to talk about my week of reading. I did have a really good and productive week, I would say. I finished, I think, either 3 or 4 books in the past week. So let's go ahead and talk about that first. What did I finish last week? So, I did finish The Stand by Stephen King. I had been deliberating last Wednesday on whether or not I wanted to set this down for a little while. And in the end, I just decided not to because I didn't want to lose any momentum. And on top of that, I was invested, and so I decided to just tough it out rather than picking up some short audiobook. I went ahead and just dug deeper into The Stand, and I'm glad that I finished it. I'm glad that I read it. It is not as amazing as I wanted it to be and as I expected. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I have read around 30 of his books, and I love so many of them. And I really, really enjoyed The Stand, don't get me wrong. I think it's probably a 4.5. Maybe a 4, but I think my expectations were just through the roof. And this book met a lot of my expectations, but it also didn't meet others. And I do feel like this is the complete and uncut edition. And yes, I'm glad that Stephen King was able to publish his full vision for the book. But honestly, a lot of it was just not necessary. I wonder if I might have enjoyed the original cut more, just because I'm a big fan of the minutia of Stephen King, where he kind of digs into the daily lives of people and things like that in his other books, because he does it, but it still doesn't lose the momentum. A good example of this is 11/22/63. I got really invested in that book, despite the fact that you definitely slowed down in the middle. I really enjoyed it and felt connected enough to the characters. I think with this one, it was just so ambitious, and there were so many characters in it that when you hit that point of just kind of digging into people's lives, there are so many people to dig into that you lose a little bit of the energy that is so present in the first part of the book. And so I did enjoy it a lot. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to. I will probably do a review for The Stand, and I think that Andrew, who I was buddy reading this with, I'll go ahead and link his channel down below. I think he was talking about doing a live show, so I'm interested to discuss this further. But overall thoughts, I really enjoyed it. Not as much as I thought I was going to. I would say it's still not in my top 5 Stephen King, but I did enjoy it. Next up, I did finish Into Ebonmore, Offspring of the Throne by Logan Leshane. This is a book that I was about halfway through last week, and I did complete this as well. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I did have some issues with it. Partly, I think that is attributed to the fact that this is the author's debut work, and she's a self-pub author, so she had to do everything by herself. I think there were just a few things that could have been, cleaned up a little bit in regard to the tone, as well as the style of writing. There would be a sentence or two every once in a while that felt kind of out of place. And then in addition to that, the world is really interesting. It just doesn't quite seem to know what it is, in that there are sci-fi elements, there are fantasy elements, there are elements that are relevant to our present day. They talk about elevators, they talk about donuts, and things like that. But it was just kind of confusing. It was intriguing in that way because I never knew what to expect from the world, but I guess I just wanted a little bit more of a firm definition from the world. And then lastly, my only other complaint was that the main character, his role in the novel and in the series as a whole just isn't really apparent to me yet. Like, he very much takes the role of passive protagonist in the last half of the book. And that was something that I wish he had been a little bit more active in the climax of the story, but I do know that he's going to definitely be more heavily active in the future books. So I do plan on continuing the series. I did think it was a lot of fun. It was very fast paced. The writing was funny at times. I really enjoyed some of the characters. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. I think if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably go like 3.5 stars, but I really did enjoy it. And then what else did I finish? I finished Old Man's War by John Scalzi. This is a book that I am buddy reading with my aunt, and I enjoyed this. I actually read it in like maybe around 24 hours, I think, about, and I listened to it on audiobook. I didn't end up physically reading it. I thought I was going to, but the audiobook was on YouTube, and so I just watched it. And I really enjoyed it. It was another one of those books that I enjoyed a lot of things about it, but I think I expected a little bit more from it. The first half of the book has a very fun tone, and it made me laugh a lot, but the second half let me down a little bit. I'll get into that a little bit more later. I actually have a reading vlog coming soon in which I read 3 science fiction books by authors that I've never tried before, so I'm excited about that. But I'll save most of my thoughts for that. Just know that I did enjoy it. Not 100%, but I did enjoy it. I think that those are all the books that I have finished. Maybe I finished one more, I can't remember. If I did, I'll go ahead and snip a clip in here of me talking about it. Yeah, I totally forgot another one. I blame COVID. The other book that I listened to this week is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. She is the lead vocalist, guitarist, basically the front woman for the band Japanese Breakfast. Really, it's her solo project, but she has a band backing her. But this is her memoir discussing her life and her growing up and her dreams of being a musician, but also her time as the caretaker for her mother who had cancer and passed away from that a number of years ago. It's a very moving book. It bummed me out, I won't lie to you, but it was very thought-provoking and very emotional, and I really enjoyed it. It was a 4-star for me. I'm going to go ahead and move on to talking about the books that I'm currently reading. So, as far as updates from last week go, I am still reading Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I am now 123 pages in, so I read like 25 pages last week. Not a lot. I think I'm like right at the 20% mark. It piqued my interest a little bit more. I had to get through those other books that I was reading, but I am a little bit more interested than I was last week. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. We'll see. I'm still not like loving it, but I have hopes for it, so we'll see. I am also just getting into, and this is like a random read. I was just at the library because I had to print something off the other day, and I stumbled upon these, and I decided, you know what, I could use another quick read, and so I picked up Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It is a graphic novel that is horror, and it's supposed to be really amazing. I've read so many amazing reviews for it, and I'm very eager to try it. There are 3 volumes, or there's like a big volume that a lot of people have. I'll go ahead and put a picture of it right here. It may be familiar to you. But I've heard a lot of really good things about this. I love horror. I'm trying to get a little bit more into graphic novels and manga, and so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a go. I'm very excited. I've only read about 5 pages of it so far. I think maybe a little bit more. I was planning on reading more yesterday, but I had to go and comfort a crying child of mine. So yeah, I'm very eager to get into that though. I hope to have finished it by the time I do my next weekly update, so anticipate some thoughts from me on it in the next weekly update for sure. And then as far as audiobooks go, I am currently listening to 2 audiobooks. The first of those is The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. It's her pen name. This is one of my favorite mystery thriller series. It's about a detective, really like a private eye, and his private investigation agency and the things that go from there in the cases he takes on. I'm loving rereading this series. The 6th book is coming out, I think, at the very end of August, and so I'm planning on rereading one a month. And it's just a comfort read, to be honest. I really love these characters, and the mysteries are very familiar to me, so I'm enjoying myself listening to that a lot, though. I'm almost at the halfway point, I think. I'm just kind of listening to it while I'm doing stuff and can't like give my full attention to it. I always like to have like a backup audiobook of like a reread or something like that where it doesn't require as much attention as maybe like a fantasy book or something like that. So really enjoying that though. And then the other audiobook that I'm listening to is Hounded by Kevin Hearn. I have been meaning to read the Iron Druid series for ages. At first, I won't lie, the covers threw me off. The original cover is this, so I definitely like the new updated covers that they have better. It's just a little bit less cringy. But I've been missing the Dresden Files, to be honest, and this is often compared to the Dresden Files, and so I decided to go ahead and pick up this audiobook, and I'm enjoying it. It's not like fantastic, but it's fun, and it's what I want right now. So yeah, I'm enjoying something a little bit more lighthearted there. But those are all the books that I'm currently reading. I am definitely anticipating jumping into some big books next month, so as this month is coming to a close, I'm just kind of trying to fit in a few shorter books to kind of refresh me, because after, like I said last week, after reading The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu and then The Stand, I just needed something to kind of help me catch my breath a little bit. So, enjoying those. Now let's go ahead and talk about the books that I have acquired in the last week. So I actually did not buy any books because I've been home with COVID, but I did receive some book mail from some publishers. So the first of those is Hurricane Girl by Marcy Dermansky. What's ironic is it was storming really bad the other night, and I opened the door to check on the rain, and this was sitting on my doorstep. So Hurricane Girl came when it was storming like crazy. But this sounds really interesting. It says a propulsive and daring new novel by the author of Very Nice about a woman on the run from catastrophe, searching for love, home, a swimming pool, and someone who can perhaps stop the bleeding from her head. So I don't really know what that means. But it sounds really great, and it has really good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm very excited to give this a try. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending it to me. It's from Knopf. I believe it's from Penguin Random House. I really do appreciate you sending me this a finished copy. This releases in June. I'll put the actual release date right down here. And then the other book that I received in the mail, I actually just got this morning, and that is Death by Landscape. It is a collection of essays by Elvia Wilk. I hope that I said that right. It might be Elvia. I'm not really sure. That's her name. I really love this cover, and to be honest, like, I love this cover too, so I'm getting some really cool looking book mail this week. But this is from Soft Skull Press, so thank you so much, Soft Skull Press, for sending this to me. Like I said, this is a collection of essays. It says, from the acclaimed author of the novel Oval comes a book of fan nonfiction about living and writing in the age of extinction. In this constellation of essays, Elvia Wilk asks what kind of narratives will help us rethink our human perspective toward Earth. The book begins as an exploration of the role of fiction today and becomes a deep interrogation of the writing process and the self. So, that sounds really thought-provoking and moving, and so I'm very excited to dig into this. I have a challenge this year that I'm trying to read one nonfiction book a month, and I haven't read a collection of essays yet, so I may actually go ahead and pick this up in June. So thank you so much to Soft Skull Press for sending me that. But that is my weekly update. Like I said, I'm not gonna probably have a video for Friday, only if I'm feeling like a lot better and have more time to film this evening and tomorrow, then maybe I will. But that is my weekly update. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you have been reading and what you are excited to hear my thoughts on. For me, like, of all these books that I'm getting into, I'm definitely very excited for Uzumaki. I just heard so many good things about it, to be honest, so I'm very excited for that. And I'm also glad that I'm finally starting Hounded by Kevin Hearn. But these are the books of this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!